Covers both Tesla and Apple, raised his target on Tesla today. So you're going to have to choose now, Dan, between two of your most beloved stocks.
Yeah, look, I think it's a fascinating development, but it speaks to what we're seeing in EV. I mean, we're talking about $1 trillion market. When you look at Apple, I continue to think it's a matter of when, not if, they get into EVs, likely through a collaborative partnership. But I look at Tesla. I mean, despite the selling the news in terms of the S&P, continues to be a golden age for EV. We're seeing that both domestically as well as in China.
How do you read today's price action? You think it's sell the news? You don't think this is the beginning of a turn in Tesla? Now people maybe more seriously considering or questioning its sky-high valuation now that it's made sort of the blue chip status of the S&P 500?
Yeah, it's a great question. I view it more knee-jerk, and I think when you look at December numbers in terms of deliveries, the trajectory, especially with China, that's the hearts and lungs of the bull story here. Going into next year, I think we're right now 3% of overall autos going to 10% by 2025 in terms of EV. And when you look at Tesla right now in that EV market, it's really Tesla's world. Everyone else is paying rent, and investors are continuing to own that theme. Right now, they're the pure play. But look at China in terms of NIO and others. I think that's really just starting to morph into its next phase of growth.
Dan, why do people need to save gas money? Why do they need electric vehicles if they're not really going to be going anywhere for the next 3 to 6 months?
Yeah, and I think in the near term, of course, as we're seeing the semi-lockdown, that's going to be a bit constrained, in terms of overall sales, even though it's been tough on like demand we've seen the last 6 to 9 months. But when we look at 2021, especially in China, I think they could be at 250,000 units for the year. And that's the key right now. That's why, when you look at Tesla, we have $1,000 bull case, base case right now, 715. And it's sort of a fork in the road situation as they execute in China. That continues to be the core for EV in terms of where most of that growth's coming out.
But can you just justify the valuation, Dan, for us? And why does this stock deserve to be more valuable than the top 8 or 9 global automakers when it represents less than 1% of sales? I get there are big visions from Elon Musk and for investors, but explain why that more than 1,000 times earnings is deserved.
Yeah, and it's part of that bull bear emotional debate right now. I continue to view Tesla not as an automaker, but as a disruptive technology vendor. I think that's the multiple it gets. You look when they could do $10 of earnings call in the next 3 to 4 years, and I think they're trading in a different paradigm than traditional automakers. And I think right now what you're starting to see is you will see GM, Ford, and others, if they have success, or I think GM will in EV, you'll start to see some of that re-rating happening. That's why right now investors value Tesla like a technology company, not an automaker, but they have to execute in 2021. Any trip over the shoelace, stock will see significant downside.
Dan, the expectations for this company are so astronomically high, and even Elon Musk has warned employees that the street and analysts are watching their every single move, every single statistic that the company reports. And yet Elon Musk says things like, I'm considering moving our balance sheet to Bitcoin. I mean, a lot of people just say, Elon's going to Elon. That's his, traditional shtick. But when you're in the S&P 500 and when you have a valuation like the company does, I mean, do you think that the company needs to get some religion and that he needs to be acting more corporate, more buttoned up?
Yeah, I mean, to some extent, Elon will always be Elon. But I think what you've started to see in terms of profitability, that red ink's in the rearview mirror, that's why they've gotten into that S&P 500. But I think you're starting to see more maturity as they build out, especially in Europe with Berlin, focus on distribution strategy, of course, Austin on the Cybertruck. But no doubt, I mean, there's much more focus on Tesla and more to gain, more to lose, especially part of the S&P. And that Bitcoin, that continues to be a focus in terms of that back and forth with MicroStrategy. I think some investors were not too happy about that today.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.